What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another video. And before we go ahead and get into the Saturday chat and chill, we do have some very important business to attend to. As you guys may or may not be aware, if you aren't aware, well, you're about to be, but unfortunately it's too late for you, so you should have been aware a long time ago. But anyway, 2 weeks ago on the Saturday chat and chill, we did announce our 5K subscriber giveaway for a $25 Google Play or iOS gift card. Now, of course, we told you guys that today would be the day that we are going to announce the winner, and therefore, I'm a man of my word, and here on the channel, we like to keep our promises. So as you can see on screen, big congratulations to Micaiah Simon for winning the $25 Google Play or iOS gift card. In this case, I do believe that you had indicated you wanted a Google Play card, so make sure that you go ahead and email me at the email that's somewhere around here on the screen. I don't know, it's probably down here, knowing me. But anyway, go ahead and email me at that email on the screen to get your gift card. I'll send you over the code within 24, 48 hours, whatever it ends up being. You have 1 week to go ahead and claim your reward. Otherwise, I will unfortunately have to give it to the runner-up, at which point I will announce that in the next Saturday chat and chill if it comes to that. But I'm sure that you will go ahead and get a hold of me. I've never had that come up, so hopefully it doesn't this time. But anyway, you guys, thank you all so much for entering. See you guys in another 900 and something subscribers when we do another one of these giveaways, and enjoy the show. What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video. And in today's video, we are going to be sitting down and taking a look at the latest update for the King of Fighters All-Star. That's right, we are going to be talking about and breaking down the EX Volume 5 update, otherwise known as the Omega Rugal Shaft update. So in today's video, we're just going to go ahead and go through this bit by bit, piece by piece, and talk about the good and the bad, and some of the steps forward, some of the steps back to come along with this update. But before we go ahead and get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe, and let's just go ahead and get into the video. So as you guys can see, this is going to be what we get with this update, and so we're just going to go through this thing as per usual, as per tradition, and talk about everything there is to talk about. So when it comes to the Rush Dungeon this time around, standard Rush Dungeon, we don't need to talk about the structure, that's always the same. So let's talk about what really matters, which is the exchange shop. So this time around, the exchange shop is going to pretty much have all the standard stuff you would come to expect. These little guys right here, you can get per account, and you can get 10 of them. So you can only get 10 in total during the time of this event. It's those Omega Rugal badge fragments that you will need for something we will talk about later. So keep those in mind and make sure you pick those up because you will want those. Now, as far as the card set this time around, the card set is going to be the I Told You I'd Be Back set. So the I Told You I'd Be Back set does the following. It increases attack by 7% per card, and then increases Temporal Mystery Fighter's physical damage by 75%, and increases attack by 22% for 7 seconds when a Temporal Mystery Fighter lands an active skill. So this card set here is very, very good. I'm glad first and foremost that we're sticking with the pixelated art, because you guys know me, I love the pixelated art, but when it comes to this card set, this is a very good card set. This is a card set that deals in physical damage. It's also going to unfortunately be relegated to just the Temporal Mystery Fighters. However, it is a very, very good set, and I would say definitely pick it up, especially if you're somebody that may or may not be picking up the newest card set maybe, and you still have like a Rugal or so on and so forth laying around that you're wanting to get a good card set for. This would be a really good option, and it's an overall very solid set. I'm glad that we're starting to see these start to move into the physical damage meta that we've seen the character's effects move into, because that means that we are probably going to be officially headlong into the physical damage meta at this point. So there you have it, and there you are. But very good set overall. Definitely say it's worth picking up. It is not better than the banner set. Keep that in mind, okay? But it's very good. So that being said, that's pretty much what we got in here. Not much else to talk about. Pick up your hammers every day, get your dispatch speed up tickets if you want them, but otherwise that is going to be the Rush Dungeon. Pretty good set, and overall you want to make sure you get those crafting items. Next up here, the Boss Showdown. Boss Showdown this time around is going to feature Omega Rugal, and it is going to go up to level 50. That means it is going to be significantly more difficult, and in fact, I would say that it gatekeeps and locks out a vast majority of people out there from getting to level 50, and that is a bit of a problem for a lot of people out there when you consider the fact that they're going to want some of those items that you're getting here, but let's take a look at them. So as far as the rewards this time around, the biggest thing, of course, is always going to be like the crafting items, because those are really important. Again, we will come back to these, but keep in mind, you get a lot of those in here, but you also get this Rugal. Now, this Rugal here, not to go like super in depth with him, he's a really solid character. He's an interesting one. He's also a support character, right? So this character is really good though for one major thing: increasing defensive type fighters attack by 85% of defense. That's really interesting. I really am curious to see what he can do for some defensive fighters out there as their leader, but overall he is a solid character in his own right. He's going to deal things in physical damage, he's going to help buff your other characters, he's also going to be able to stand on his own. So this is a really good character with pretty much the bells and whistles you would normally come to expect. He isn't necessarily going to be on par with the best characters in the game right now at all. Like, don't get it backward. He isn't going to be a banner style character by no means, but he is still a super good character. So this character here, basically, in my opinion, if you take a look through the kit, very much so going to be a support oriented character that can also stand on his own 2 feet. I just think the art is ugly. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think the stance is goofy at best. It just looks, I don't know. Usually the art I'm all about. This one I'm not as big a fan of. It's, I don't know, the stance. But anyway, that's where you get him. So anyway, moving on and getting away from that. If we take a look through here, we are also going to get things like rubies. So this is a very important event, right? The problem for a lot of people, also, some people I've seen in comment section ask about this. This is where you get dead mount press, guys. So if you're wondering where you can get your selector for that, that is going to be, was at tier 39 of this. So anyway, when it comes to this overall though, you finally get the final reward here, which is this really neat little badge, which I actually equipped myself. And then you're going to get all these tiles, which again, you need these items, right? So the only big problem with this is this time around, the reason why I said it's going to gatekeep a lot of people out of it is because it does have one thing that it does where it puts you on auto and locks you out of being able to control your character for a significant amount of time at the beginning of the match, which is very hard to get past for most players, I would imagine, without their character just being murked if they're already going through all the HP debuffs and all the things they would need to get to level 50. So I can see this being extremely hard to the point where it's not doable for a good majority of people out there that aren't going to be like at least intermediate or above in this game, right? Or you've just wailed out and gotten A5 Omega Rugal, and maybe you can do it then, but even then I think Devil Jin is probably going to be almost a requirement for most people right now. So that mode, in my opinion, is a significant step down from the last one. I will go ahead and post my run on this, finishing it up myself. But you guys saw there, I used Devil Jin and Omega Rugal, so there you go. So when it comes to the tower this time around, the tower this time around was fine. I really didn't notice it being that much more difficult than anything else. In fact, I think this one by comparison to the last one was a little bit simpler or easier, but maybe Rugal was just that good. I don't know. But going through here, the final reward is going to be this guy right here, which is a mystery box for either a BS or an SS memory for some of the previously buffed BS and SS characters. So this is nice. I wish these were selectors though. I think that just makes more sense. You get an event card, you're going to be able to get hammers, you're going to get more of the crafting items that you'll need. So again, guys, you got to go through all this stuff because you need these crafting items, right? They're very important. So overall, there is a little bit of everything in here. It's decently rewarding. It isn't anything super rewarding though. I think that this one was just kind of okay. I mean, it had some decent stuff in it, but I mean, I guess for the difficulty of it, which again, I don't know if it was just Omega Rugal being that much of a god, I have no idea, but it was not that much more difficult than any of the rest of them, and I was able to get through it pretty quickly. But it only requires 125k. I know they sometimes say that and sometimes seem more difficult than what they imply, but this one didn't seem that way, at least to my knowledge, from what I could tell. But some people out there might be different on that. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is some of the crafting events and some of the things that came along with those, because right now we've gone through pretty much like the major in-game events. So I want to talk about what we're using all these items that we've been getting playing these different game modes on, right? So in the crafting event, those tiles are actually going to be useful for getting this Rugal memory, right? So these Rugal memories, if we take a look at my Rugal, we'll go ahead and take a look at mine real quick. So mine is A3, right? So this guy right here, I've pretty much been building him up as best I can, just kind of throwing stuff onto him, yada, 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 just to grind and rush dungeon. But if we take a look here, another thing we're going to be able to realize about this is that if we go to the login, we're also going to get more tiles here. So that's very important because those tiles, again, get memories for that Rugal. And as we've established, that Rugal is a very decent character when it comes to just being kind of like a, dedicated DPS type character. He's solid. But as a support character, he is arguably the best in the game, one of the best in the game. So at this point, as a support, very, very good. He's in that conversation with some of the best. So very important character if you're into team runs and things like that. So you'll want all those tiles again. Make sure you're logging in every day because you can get more there as well. So if you want to, you can go into the in-game shop, buy some of these with real money. I don't recommend it, but hey, you do you. However, I got mine to A3 in the first couple days, just playing through all the different events, and I still have some due to me. So I should end up hopefully being able to, we'll see, A4 maybe. It may just end up being an extra memory though at the end of the day. I'm pretty sure that's probably what it's gonna end up being though at this point if I just do it free to play. So as far as other things in here, we have stones. So the stones this time around, if we take a look, we have the moonstone for the temporal mystery. And if we take a look, if it'll let me open it, we will see that we get increase to temporal mystery fighters strike and blast skill damage. So that is a very nice effect overall for the moonstone. But of course, as you guys can probably guess if you've been playing this game for any discernible amount of time, if we take a look at the star stone, it of course is going to be our crit rate stone. So that is going to be the one that most people are going to go for the CP. Either way though, I want both of these. I at least want a set of these because I can go ahead and put them on my Rugal. I've got the star stone, I need the moonstone. So other things in here, you get a badge, you get this guy here. The badge is where you're getting these medals, what you're getting these medals for. So definitely make sure that you're picking those up like I've told you throughout talking about the events. And overall, this is a very, very good crafting event. Very good rewards, lots and lots of stuff in here that are good and useful items. So overall, I think this is a very good crafting event, although it's pretty much in line with most of them. Now, other things in here, we do have the relay bingo, and the relay bingo this time around, if we take a look at the rewards, you guys are going to see more of those tiles, right? So again, get those tiles. So these tiles here are going to be available. You're also going to get some rubies, you're going to get some capsules, you're going to get some hammers, but then you're also going to get more of these guys, right? So these guys right here, if you remember how you get that badge in the crafting event. So overall, once you get to the final all clear reward, which is a fodder card, you're going to be able to go ahead and reset the board. When you reset the board, as you guys can see, more of the same, they just go ahead and increase some of the numbers. So good stuff overall, right? This is a very easy one. There's nothing here that is extremely difficult or anything like that. They're not forcing you to do anything you don't want to do, and you can just go in here, you can do your daily missions just like this, and look, oh, I cleared that for the day, boom. So easy stuff, not anything too difficult, so you guys should be able to get that stuff fairly easily moving forward. So that's pretty much how that's going to work. Let's go ahead and talk about the codex. So the codex this time around is going to feature, of course, the 3 characters, both the banner characters and the free character. Now, as far as the banner characters are concerned, of course, they are going to give us the reset tokens. They're going to go ahead and give us their stones. The stones this time around are pretty good. In fact, one of them is extremely good. So the circle stone is going to decrease defense by 20% for 5 seconds when extreme fighter lands an active skill on a cooldown of 10 seconds. Pretty decent. But then if we get to the square stone, this one's going to increase EX fighters critical damage by 15%. You want this stone. This stone is going to be your Devil Jin's new best friend. Now, other things in here, this is going to be the Hex Stone. It increases the target's damage received by 6% for 5 seconds. So it's okay. I mean, these stones here, the big winner here is this guy right here. You want this guy. Make sure you get it. You should be able to at least get, and that's the good news here because we're going to take a look at this. With the free Rugal, you should at least get a set as a free to play. So, good stuff, right? Now, Other things. We are going to be able to get 120 of these, which is going to be good enough. Basically, this should be a selector at this point for a moon or a star stone, because that's exactly what this is. It's 120 of these things. You can go in, you can craft yourself one of those stones. And then finally, of course, you're going to get this guy right here, which is your 500 prime memory shards for going the full A5. And that is going to be the case for both the Duolon and the Omega Rugal for the banner. And then when it comes to the free Rugal, he is going to have that as well, which is really, really cool. So guys, that is pretty much going to be the codex. As far as other things, we've talked about the banners at this point. I don't even feel like I need to talk about them anymore. At the end of the day, the characters, I've already told you guys, Omega Rugal, top 2 character in the game at this point, duking it out with Devil Jin up there on damage. And then when it comes to Duolon, he is a very solid character, but I am still curious based on my early playtesting where he's going to end up, right? I don't really necessarily think he's going to end up being a character that's going to change much of anything. Put it this way, I think Omega Rugal is the major standout, and that's pretty obvious considering this is basically a Rugal update, right? So at that point though, when it comes to the cards, this is going to be the most important thing. It is going to be this card set. You need to make sure you pick up this card set. I would say that this is moving forward going to be more than likely a must-have set. I think this set is so powerful, and if you take a look at everything that it's doing for your characters, especially being that it's just blanket for all extreme tagged fighters, this card set, you need to have it. So make sure you guys get it. Very important. If you decide to skip the characters, that's one thing. Make sure you get the card set. Other things in here though, you could actually skip the rest of this if you're not going for the characters. Basically, if you're not going for the characters, it probably means that you don't like the characters, or you already have a fairly well-built Devil Jin, and you're just like, okay, I can skip right now, which is completely warranted and valid if you're not somebody that feels compelled to pull on this banner. Maybe you don't like the characters, maybe you don't have that many rubies, what have you. The card set, however, I would try to make sure you guys get. So that being said, you guys, I think that about covers the major points with the update itself. When it comes to the battle passes this time around, I'm not going to go too into detail on these because they're very similar to normal. Basically though, I would say that if you love Omega Rugal and you love what you see on this banner, maybe you're a huge Duolon fan, what have you, if you want to pull just that much more on this banner, this is a good value. The value proposition is here for this, but when it comes to the $5 tier, I would say probably it's probably worth it for most people to pick it up if they're willing to give any money to the game, only because it is giving you tokens towards the pity, and it's only the $5, and you do get some other items in here like these rubies and the AP and so on. So I mean, if you're looking to throw any money at it, like if you're thinking about that, this would probably be what I would do, just a few bucks, and then you get some pretty good little rewards here, right? This one here is really if you're just a diehard and you really just want to pull just that much more. You get the value there for the money based on what you will see in the in-game shop normally, but at the same time, it's $50. So, you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to what your priorities are. Finally, you do get this BS or SS selector, which is up to date with everybody, and that's pretty much what you get there. So overall, guys, I think that about does it for the update. I think that in the end, this is a very good update. It gives us some things that are very good for free-to-play and beginner players. They get that Rugal, which is a big deal. That Rugal is a very good character. He's a super solid support, so he kind of plays to both the veterans that are chasing big numbers in guild raid and so what have you, with a new strong support character, but it also gives players that are going to be just starting a new EX character to use some of these cards on and things like that, and to help push through some content. And I think that's a really big thing. And I think that Netmarble has been showing a propensity towards releasing more and more of these characters for free, which is really cool. I also like the choice of characters for the banner. Duolon is a character that's kind of a deep cut that is very welcome to the roster for the KOF crowd. And then when it comes to Rugal, he's never going to be a character that people are going to complain about. Even two of them, people are going to be just as happy, because Rugal is one of the most iconic fighting game villains that you will see in this game. So honestly, he deserves it. And with the rest of the content, I think that despite the fact that Boss Showdown to me isn't necessarily my favorite thing in the world, mainly because of that weird auto mechanic, I don't see that as being a difficulty feature as much as it is just cheap. I think that's just stupid and doesn't make sense to me. I think it's really, really dumb. You're just literally saying, here, put the controller down. You don't get to play until we tell you to. Like, that to me isn't you can't strategize really well for something like that, and it just doesn't feel fair. For me, it wasn't that difficult, but I'm thinking about people that are going to be like intermediate or a little bit above. Like, that just seems like it gatekeeps a lot of people, because I don't think their characters are they're not gonna last that long. So that's another thing. And so overall, I think that this is a very, very solid update. But I do think one big thing is still dragging it down, and I've talked about this recently more and more often. There needs to be generic memories for EX fighters. This has gotten to the point now, we're going to be going into, we started getting EX fighters at the beginning of the year, towards the beginning of the year, and we're going into October. We still don't have generic memories, we've never gotten one, and we do not have a reliable way to get them. So at this point, a lot of people have been complaining about the rates and what have you, not wanting to pull, being fearful to pull, being fearful that they're not going to be able to save up enough to even be able to potentially secure a copy or two of their favorite character before they get released because there's not generics. And I think that they will eventually come. And so I don't think that those people need to worry that much about that. It's just, how long do you have to wait, right? Because it just seems ridiculous, especially considering when we keep pumping these characters out. They clearly want us to use them, and they've made it so difficult to get duplicates now with 2 EX fighters on a banner that you end up like in the Duolan situation. Duolan is a great character, don't get me wrong. It's just that most people are going to get a Duolan and they're going to I wanted Omega Rugal, and that's going to happen a lot. Look at my summon video as an example of that. And so I don't really think it makes sense to not have generics in here, and I think it drags down the hype. I really, really do. It isn't an indictment on the update. The update is fine, and everything seemingly is kind of working for once. But I just think that it has to happen soon, because so many people dread pulling, and if they had that windfall of knowing, okay, I can at least build this guy with generics down the road, so I just got to get a copy, then I think that would help a lot of people. But they don't even have that option, and it doesn't make sense at this point. You're going on almost a year of these releases, and I think at this point we've got to come up with a way to start incorporating those, because I just don't see it being something feasible for that much longer before people start really, really getting annoyed by this tactic, which is really honestly drying up everybody to the point where they can't really get anybody they actually want built up enough to get through some of this content. And so I think I do feel really bad for a lot of people out there who don't have those options and are really struggling with that. And I see it all the time in the comments, and that does bother me. But overall, you know, guys, that is the update. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think about all this. Like, share, and subscribe on your way out. I know there was a lot to talk about in here, so thank you all for bearing with me and sitting through that. But anyway, you guys, enjoy your weekends. Happy Saturday to all of you, and until the next one, you all take care. Peace.
Continue.